Title: They Beg for the Millionth Time. Please forgive me. I can't live with this pain. I replied coldly, then don't. Then I sent them a cease and desist letter via my lawyer. The pain of forgiveness being out of reach was now compounded by legal fees for harassment. I, 38M, never thought I'd be airing my dirty laundry on Reddit, but here we are. It's been a weirdly calm few weeks, considering the storm. My best friend and business partner, Julian, 38M, and his wife, Qley, 35F, who is also a very close friend, practically family, decided to shatter my world. It all started about 3 months ago. We had a small tech startup. Promising. I was the main investor, put up around $250,000 of my own savings, inheritance mostly. Julian was the ideas guy, Qley handled marketing. We were a tight trio, or so I thought. Profits were finally starting to roll in. We just landed a significant contract, something that would put us on the map. Champagne all around, big celebration dinner. Good times. 2 weeks after that dinner, I logged into our business accounts to check on the initial payment from the new client. It wasn't there. Odd. Then I checked the transaction history. A massive withdrawal, nearly $150,000, had been made the previous day, transferred to an unknown account. My blood went ice cold. I called Julian, straight to voicemail. Called Qley. Same. Sent texts. No replies. Drove to their house. Cars were gone. A for sale sign was up in their yard. My stomach just dropped. They'd cleared out the business account, taken the client's advance, and vanished. Just gone. Years of friendship, trust, my money, poof. For a moment, I felt that surge of hot, blind rage. Wanted to scream, break something, but then a strange sort of calm settled over me. Like a switch flipped. This wasn't a time for hysterics. This was a time for strategy. First call, my bank, to report the unauthorized transaction. They started an investigation, but warned me that since Julian was a signatory on the account, it was complicated. Second call, a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. Marcus Thorne, a guy known for his sharp teeth in financial fraud cases. Expensive, but I figured Julian and Qley would be paying for him indirectly soon enough. Third step, documentation. I had copies of our partnership agreement, my initial investment proof, emails, texts discussing finances, everything. Marcus was pleased with my organization. The initial shock wore off and was replaced by a steely resolve. They weren't just going to get away with this. Update 1. 3 weeks later, February 5th, 2024. Well, Reddit, things have escalated, just as I expected. Marcus got to work fast. Turns out, Julian and Qley hadn't been as clever as they thought. The account the money was transferred to? A newly opened one in Qley's maiden name in an offshore bank, known for being less than discreet if proper legal channels are used. Amateurs. We got a court order to freeze that account pretty quickly. Marcus said they'd probably managed to spend a chunk already, but we might recover a good portion. The police also issued warrants. They're officially fugitives. Then, about a week ago, the begging started. First, an email from an anonymous address, clearly them, full of "we're so sorry, we were desperate." It was a moment of madness. Desperate for what? They were living comfortably. My money was making them comfortable. I didn't reply. Sent it straight to Marcus. Then came the calls. Blocked numbers, usually in the middle of the night. I'd answer, hear Qley's tearful voice. "Mark, please, you have to understand, we can pay it back eventually. Don't ruin our lives." Or Julian, trying to sound reasonable. "Mark, buddy, there's been a huge misunderstanding. Let's talk this out, just us. No lawyers, no cops. We can fix this." Buddy, the audacity. I just say, all communication through my lawyer, Julian, and hang up. Every single time. Their parents got involved too. Qley's mom, Brenda, called me weeping. "She's a good girl, Mark. She just fell under Julian's influence. He's always been a bit of a charmer, a bit reckless. Don't do this to her. Think of the shame." I told Brenda, "Qley is a grown woman who made adult decisions. She needs to face adult consequences. I'm sorry, but my stolen money and shattered trust aren't her get-out-of-jail-free card." Click. Julian's dad, Frank, was more aggressive. "You'll regret this, son. You're destroying their future over some money. They said they were sorry. What more do you want? The money back, Frank. And for them to face the legal consequences of grand larceny and fraud. That's what I want. Click. The entitlement is staggering. They genuinely seem to believe that a few tearful apologies should wipe the slate clean after they embezzled a fortune and destroyed a business I poured my life into. As if their pain of being caught outweighs the devastation they caused. Marcus is loving the voicemails and emails. Says it's all prime evidence of their guilt and their attempts to circumvent the legal process. They're digging their own graves deeper with every sob story. The client whose advance they stole, Marcus, and I met with them, laid out the situation transparently. They were furious, obviously, but appreciated my honesty. We're working on a plan to salvage the project with new funding, if possible. It's a long shot. The for sale sign on their house. Marcus put a lien on it so fast their head spun. If it sells, we'll get a piece of that too. Little victories. Still calm. Still methodical. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Update 2. 2 months later. Things took a turn for the desperate on their end. And honestly, kind of pathetic. Julian and Qley were finally apprehended about a month ago. Tried to cross a border with fake passports. Again, amateurs. They were extradited back. Currently out on bail, paid by their long-suffering parents, I assume. The trial date is set for a few months from now. The freezing of the offshore account was successful. We recovered about $90,000. A decent chunk, but still a long way for what they took. The rest? Poof. Expensive dinners, designer clothes, a down payment on a ridiculous sports car they only drove for a week. Marcus's forensic accountant had a field day tracing it. Now that they're back and facing the music, the harassment ramped up. But they got dumber. Qley started a social media campaign. Yep. Long, rambling posts about being victimized by a vindictive former friend, how she was manipulated and suffering unimaginable emotional distress. She painted me as a cruel monster out to destroy her life because I couldn't handle their success funded by my stolen money, LOL. She even tried to imply I was somehow abusive in our friendship. Just vile stuff. A few of her clueless friends, the ones who don't know the full story, chimed in with support. Stay strong, Qley. We believe you. Idiots. Julian tried a different tactic. He started leaving me gifts. A wilted bouquet of flowers on my doorstep with a note. Mark, old friend, let's put this behind us. For old time's sake, a cheesy self-help book about forgiveness. He even tried to get our old favorite pizza place to deliver a friendship special to my apartment on his dad's credit card. I refused the delivery. Each item, each note, photographed and sent to Marcus. Their respective supporters also doubled down. Brenda, Qley's mom, actually showed up at my apartment building, buzzed every single unit until someone let her in, then banged on my door for 20 minutes, wailing about how I was killing her daughter with stress. My neighbor, a stoic old lady named Mrs. Henderson, threatened to call the cops on her for disturbing the peace. Bless Mrs. Henderson. Frank, Julian's dad, tried to corner me in the parking lot of my grocery store. Got right in my face, saying I was ungrateful for all the good times and that boys will be boys, apparently even when boys commit felonies. I just stared at him, recorded the whole interaction on my phone, and said, "This conversation is over, Frank. Next time, it's a restraining order." He backed off, muttering, "The emotional vulnerability?" Yeah, it hit me a bit when Qley's post started. That brief flash of, did I do something to make them think this was okay? But Marcus, in his wonderfully blunt way, said, "Mark, they're criminals. Their why doesn't matter as much as their what. And what they did was steal a boatload of your money." He's right. So, the millionth plea for forgiveness came last week. A joint email, practically dripping with fake remorse. "Mark, we beg you, for the love of God, forgive us. We can't live with this pain. We'll do anything." My reply, CC&G Marcus, then don't. 2 days later, Marcus, on my instruction, sent them both and their parents cease and desist letters. Formal, legally binding. Any further direct or indirect contact, any attempts to harass or intimidate me, any further defamatory statements online, and we pursue additional civil charges for harassment and defamation, on top of the criminal ones. The pain of forgiveness being out of reach was now compounded by the very real prospect of more legal fees. The silence since those letters landed has been golden. Final update, 6 months later. It's over. Mostly. The trial was last month. Julian and Qley both pled guilty after their lawyers saw the mountain of evidence Marcus and the DA had amassed. The bank records, their attempted flight, the forensic accounting of their spending spree, their own idiotic emails and voicemails, Qley's social media meltdown, the cease and desist letters. Their lawyer probably advised them that a trial would be a televised train wreck. Julian got 3 years. Qley got 18 months. Lighter due to lesser involvement, debatable but okay, and remorse, plus restitution orders for the full remaining amount, something like $60,000. Not that I expect to see much of that anytime soon, but it's on record. Their parents looked utterly defeated in court. Brenda was openly sobbing. Frank just looked old. The house they were trying to sell, the lien held. It finally sold, and after the mortgage was cleared, I got about $30,000. So, in total, I've recovered around $120,000 of the $150,000. Still a loss, but better than nothing. The business is dead, of course. The stolen client advance was the final nail. I'm still dealing with some of that fallout. Qley's social media? Radio silent since the cease and desist, and definitely silent now she's preparing for prison. Her supportive friends have mysteriously vanished. Funny how that happens. Julian's dad, Frank, tried one last, pathetic attempt at contact through Marcus after the sentencing, offering some kind of personal loan to me to make things right if I'd write a letter supporting early parole for Julian. Marcus politely told him where to stick his offer. The sheer, unadulterated nerve. Some people never learn. As for me, it's been a brutal 9 months. The stress, the legal fees, though Marcus was worth every penny and we're exploring getting some of those covered by the restitution. The betrayal, it took a toll. There were days I just wanted to stay in bed. Moments of intense anger, deep sadness. But mostly I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, focusing on the logical next step. I'm slowly rebuilding, looking at new ventures, maybe something smaller, solo for a while. The trust issues are real. It'll be a long time before I partner with anyone again. That's for sure. Was it revenge? I don't know. I just wanted accountability. They made adult choices with catastrophic consequences for me. They faced adult consequences. Their entitlement, their belief that they could just apologize their way out of a major crime was genuinely shocking. They weren't sorry they did it. They were sorry they got caught and that it wasn't easy to fix. The best revenge is that their pleas fell on deaf ears. Their manipulations failed. Their attempts to rewrite the narrative were shut down by cold, hard facts and legal documents. They begged for mercy they didn't deserve and didn't receive. They wanted the pain to stop? Well, choices have price tags, and they're paying theirs now. I'm moving on. It's not a happy ending, not really, but it's an ending, a new beginning for me. Thanks for letting me share Reddit. It helped to type it all out.